Hi there. The bystander effect. Okay. The bystander effect is a psychosocial phenomenon. Yeah, that's a nice way to start. I don't think you need this comma here. We'll lose that. But yeah, nice. Boom. The bystander effect is a psychosocial phenomenon. Full stop. Love it. When some emergency situation takes place in a group perceived as large, the feeling of responsibility to react is low. Okay, first thing, some. A would be better. When a well, and because it's emergency. When an emergency situation takes place in a group that is perceived as large, the feeling of responsibility to react, okay, is low. Okay, the feeling of responsibility, I think, of the members of that group to react, and this is really low. Okay, really low. Let's see, all of this that has come before, psychosocial phenomenon, yeah, this is reasonably formal, and I think another word really is really quite informal here. I think maybe extremely, or some other word, okay? Really is a bit informal there. In each group component's mind, okay, yeah, in each, well, firstly, okay, you would want to put a possessive here, but I think in in each group component's mind, the next unconscious reasoning occurs. This group is really big, so someone else will eventually take care of the situation. Okay, you could say in each group component's mind. I think let's try something like in the mind of each group member. Okay, comma. The next. I don't like that word next. The following reasoning occurs. The following unconscious reasoning. Whoops, my spelling's terrible. My keyboard skills. Okay, so the following unconscious reasoning occurs. In each group members, in the mind of each group member, the following unconscious reasoning, let's try thought process, occurs. This group is really big. Here is good, but it's good because this is the person talking to themselves, and really is a word we would use when we talk, but not to write. So someone else will eventually take care of the situation. Yeah, take care of. I think maybe deal with would be better than take care of with the situation. Okay. Logically, if this thought comes to everyone's mind, in the end, nobody will react to the emergency, and the consequences can be fatal. Okay, comes to everyone's mind. If let's try something more sophisticated than okay. If yeah, well, something logically, if everyone thinks like this, then in the end, if everyone thinks like this, comma, then in the end, no one will react to the emergency, and the consequences can be fatal. The bystander effect is the potential explanation to brutal murders that go on for hours in residential neighborhoods where no one does nothing. Ouch. No one does nothing. Ouch, ouch, ouch. No. Where no one does anything. Okay, the bystander effect is the potential explanation. Let's make this much better. May explain. Brutal murders that go on for hours in residential neighborhoods where no one does anything. You have not explained yourself clearly in this central bit either. May explain brutal murders. Because this implies that the murderer kills one person after another, and this isn't what you mean. I'm going to add information here because you really need it. Where a victim lies bleeding for hours in residential neighborhoods and no one does anything. Okay. You've had difficulty with this to get a nice form with this, but notice the first paragraph is always the most difficult. Yeah, once you've got the first paragraph in place, you can start to talk about the things that you're doing more easily, but it's always very difficult to get this first one in place. Let's continue. The bystander effect was proven with an experiment where the subject was put into a room equipped with a set of microphones and headphones. Okay, the bystander effect was proven with. You could prove with, but I think by an experiment where the subject, why is it the subject? No, a subject. We're introducing our subject, was put into a room equipped with a set of microphone and headphones. Question, this is not clear. Who was equipped with the microphone and the headphones? The subject or the room? I think put into a room that had, and lose the set of, had but I'm not sure. A microphone and headphones. I don't know. In a room. Okay, I think it's the subject that had the microphones, headphones. So I'm gonna change this then. I think it's that way. In a room where a subject with with a microphone and a headphone, sorry, and a headset was put into a room. The subject heard the voices of the other participants, actors of the other participants. I think, in the experiment, and he was told to chat with them about problems in the adjustment to university life, Suddenly, one of the actors gave some auditive signs of having an epileptic fit. The subjects were previously informed about how many others were involved in the experiment. The researchers found that the bigger the group, less people reacted. The bigger the group, less people reacted. Okay. Let's put this another way around. The researchers found that the reaction became less as the group got bigger. Okay. Yeah, and if you like, and less people reacted. And if the group, if the we lose the and. If the group was perceived as small, nearly all the subject. However, nevertheless, here you need one of these words of contrast. Whereas, if the group was small, thank you. If the group was perceived as small, nearly all the subjects ran looking for the scientists for help. Ran, I think, just here, to the scientists for help. Okay, that's fine. I quite like that. However, the probability of reaction does not only depend on this effect. Good, nice short sentence. Various other factors such as personality traits and the time you spend thinking if to react or not, Okay. Various other factors such as personality traits and the time you spend thinking if to react or not until you come to a decision are decisive. Okay. So it's personality and the time you spend thinking, and here's where we got the problem. I was thinking. And the time you spend thinking. Okay, let's try this. And the time it takes you to decide whether or not to act, are decisive. Yeah, various other factors such as and the time it takes you to decide whether to act or not are decisive. Personality traits like empathy or high levels of altruism may increase the probability of reaction. The reader can imagine that low levels in these personality factors, summed up to the bystander effect, will significantly decrease this probability. That low levels. This first personality traits like empathy or high levels of altruism may increase the probability of reaction. That's really nice. The reader can imagine that low levels in these personality factors let's just cut this a second, will significantly decrease this probability. And this is what is known as the bystander effect. Yeah. Some researchers in social psychology suggest a hypothesis has to do has to do with reaction time. Yeah. This hypothesis defends that if you do not decide to react to an emergency in a few seconds, you will enter into a sort of blockage and you will be incapable of reacting. Defends, argues. Fine. In conclusion, this psychosocial effect is inevitable in modern cities and populations, where cities are enormously overpopulated and people continuously perceive themselves surrounded by others. Usually this fact makes citizens feel safer, because in large societies there will always be someone there that will help you. This has proven to be incorrect. Good, I like that. This was really good. Yeah. Let's see. One tiny little thing, but I'm being really picky here. Population and overpopulated. You've used the same one twice. I love this word overpopulated. So let's see. In modern cities and populations. Another good word for populations. I'll tell you what. This will be fun. Why don't we ask the people who view the video to give us some nice alternatives for populations? I'm sure there'll be some really good ones out there, because I can't think of any offhand. Okay, let me read it again. The bystander effect. The bystander effect is a psychosocial phenomenon. When an emergency situation takes place in a group that is perceived as large, the feeling of responsibility of the members of that group to react, is extremely low. In the mind of each group member, the following unconscious thought process occurs. This group is really big, so someone else will eventually deal with the situation. Logically, if everyone thinks like this, then in the end nobody will react to the emergency, and the consequences can be fatal. The bystander effect may explain brutal murders, where, that's me, a victim lies bleeding for hours in residential neighborhoods and no one does anything. The bystander effect was proven by an experiment where a subject, if you wanted that equipped, equipped with a microphone, and headset. I think that needs a hyphen. Was put into a room. The subject heard the voices of other participants in the actors in the experiment, and he was told to chat with them about problems in adjustment to the. Suddenly, one of the actors gave some auditive signs of having an epileptic fit. The subjects were previously informed of how many others were involved in the experiment. The researchers found that the reaction became less, the subject's reaction became less as the group got bigger. And less people reacted. No, that was me. Yeah. The researchers found that the subject's reaction became less as the group got bigger. Yeah, I don't like that. Comma. Whereas, yes. Okay, I'm always telling you, make short sentences. Well, here I've just joined two of those, but all I've done is I've just taken this linker word, whereas, I put a comma and I've just put the two sentences together. The researchers found that the subject reaction became less as the group got bigger, whereas if the group was perceived as small, nearly all the subjects ran to the scientist for help. However, the probability of reaction does not only depend on this effect. Various other factors such as personality traits and the time it takes you to decide whether or not to act are decisive. Some researchers in social psychology suggest a hypothesis that has to do with reaction time. This hypothesis argues that if you do not decide to react to an emergency in a few seconds, you will enter into some sort of blockage and you will be incapable of reacting. In conclusion, this is some sort of blockage, some sort of mental blockage. In conclusion, this psychosocial effect is inevitable in modern cities and populations, where cities are enormously overpopulated and people continuously perceive themselves surrounded by others. Usually this fact makes citizens feel safer, because in large societies there will always be someone there that will help you. Yeah, you've even answered your word, citizen societies. But I'm sure they're better words. There will always be someone there that will help you. This has proven to be incorrect. This assumption has proven to be incorrect. Okay, there you go. So, those are my comments on your essay. It got better as it went on, but that's because you became more relaxed with what you were writing. You had much more clearly in your mind what you were writing and what you were going to say. This is really the problem, particularly when you start. You don't have really clearly in your mind what you're going to write, what you're going to say. And that makes it very difficult to write well. By the end, you have it very, very, very clear what you want to say, what you need to say, and then it's easy to write. Okay? The clearer you can have this first paragraph in your head before you write it, the better it will become. Okay? So, I hope my comments have helped you, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.